just really go. Yeah, to repeat what happened.
The same strategy as early, same draft. Now, of course, they're bidding at the Claude. They need, there might be a directive here for the SADISTIC gods to choose the Selena now. They could actually choose Selena and PK. It's not so bad. You may say it's an overwhelming flow of support.
Your team
But
is
Valerie, oh my.
This is I could have.
I mean, you're choosing Beleric against the Claude, but you can choose Esmeralda on the other side. So
Yes.
let's see. I'm not so sure. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to choose Esmeralda now.
Kufra.
But they might be sticking to a Kufra or
Yeah,
Esmeralda.
Kufra is totally okay, but all right, they're gonna be choosing Xborg. All right.
Okay. Still on the safe side. Still
Yeah.
very fundamental.
Yeah,
Similar
still
to
stable.
the
It's still
game.
totally stable, but they're not going for the direct for a direct counter there.
X4.
This also leads to like what you said earlier, they might be baiting out a Selena pick, but I like it how Sadistic Gods really stick to a comfort hero, but at the same time this leaves a lot of counter picks for the side of SINAG, so this it kind of worries me a bit on how
Especially the Beleric.
Yeah. The Beleric.
You can just pick a high loss. You can even pick there we go. We got something more stable. Carry, but they decided the Bruno would fit well. Actually, between the Bruno and Carry, Bruno got hurt so bad from that recent patch update. Still cannot take off my eyes here on that Xborg. On the
Is banned.
On the Beleric. Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe the Beleric would be a good answer there. But the problem is you can force out the skills of the Beleric just with Xborg and Kufra alone.
Alone, yes.
Actually for the Claude. That's
And
good.
Claude would go for a cleanup too.
Yeah.
If ever they forced out the skill sets for the Beleric. But let's see. I think that it's one of their comfort heroes. Maybe, just maybe, it could really turn out into their favor, or counter strategize in terms. But okay, so the Cho and the Selena will be banned for the second phases. So, this is. I'm a bit thrown.
I mean, it's hard for the Sadistic Gods actually to build up on this one. They need something to at least maybe support this Bruno, but I cannot really recommend the Angela. Actually, that's the problem. If the Selena is banned, Angela Claude might seal the deal.
and they can't really afford to choose an Angela, because this is another +1 pick up for the side of SINAG Pilipinas, especially if the timing is not right.
Yeah. I mean, it would make a lot of sense if SINAG just choose the Angela here, but they're gonna go for the Lilia. Maybe add a few more flavor here and there.
Speaking of flavor, okay.
Okay. So they want to out-sustain the Beleric. They want to out-sustain the Beleric. So they want to face the Beleric head-on. The Beleric kind of struggles really against the Lilia, and that's the problem. I think it's too early to really show that Beleric. But look at that. We have the Uranus. That is a very nice pick now. If they decide to put that on the off lane. I mean, you can forget about the Beleric, but if you have the Uranus here for the side of Sadistic Gods, that would turn things. It makes their comp much stable. So there you go.
It kind of compensates for the lackluster abilities of the Beleric if it's on off lane.
Yeah. Not to mention, you can just go into the face of the SS.
Yeah.
You have the Uranus. You can also use Esmeralda. Just punish one of these in the front line, and you would have your way towards the Bruno.
Basically target the frontliners first before going into the back end. But again, going here, based on the rotation that they have, I think there won't be any attempts of invades, and just really focus on fundamentals such as scaling and getting those resources.
Yeah, we got 4 members here from SINAG Pilipinas hovering onto the mid lane side. Actually curious what will happen as each one will rotate onto their own buffs. You can actually see that there is none. So maybe the first point of engagement will happen here onto the mid lane convergence, or probably a convergence into the bottom lane. But interestingly, the Xborg has been shoving that lane too.
And it's a good thing that he manages to really put the Uranus in place into the bottom side, because like what we mentioned, if this Uranus is denied the tankiness that he needs into the early phases of our game, this would be a good sign for SINAG. But of course, I think there will be more members here onto the top side. Maybe a potential fight will be coming into play soon, because that Lilia is half health, and the Bruno, of course, goes for the kill.
Of course, that is well done from the side here of SINAG Pilipinas. Now, they're taking some attention again for that bottom lane side. Tiki trying to beat someone out. Very interesting here. They got a lot of damage coming in from enemy. Forces enemy out. Multiple flickers has been burned. Interestingly, I keep on mentioning that they should punish the Uranus here, but they've decided that they want to target the Bruno, the PNK. Bruno and PNK tandem here.
Which can be a good option too, because if these two people also was able to be given some space onto the late game, that could be very difficult as well. So that is also good shot call, because they managed to take two for none into their side, and it's good denied even on this early phase.
Slow and steady for our running game. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Denver here doubling up because Jams here will be denying that grab going into the back. I think Tiki and Solo will be backstab.
Oh, okay, it's Falling Star Moon, and Tiki uses that movement speed to really go on a different direction, sacrificing himself in the long run. But take note of the HP here, Shinbu. Denver will be going on low, and the Esmeralda will be having a double kill for himself. But they were kind of in a very split fight right there. So I think it's a shot called miscoms here. Because,
that's a lot of miscoms and a lot of bad decisions, honestly. Again, I think there's really no point in chasing down the PNK and Bruno this early. When you have a lot of diving portion, you have a lot of durability and also spam ball spells.
True.
I know Uranus is a tank, but you don't want to try and target the PNK and Bruno combination, as their main tanky members will try to back up towards you, because you will have no fighting chance if you try to burn your second set of skills on tankier members of Sadistic Gods. Sadistic Gods should capitalize on this fact. Now you can actually see the shift in zone here for the side of SINAG Pilipinas, as they've been moving onto the bottom lane. Gonna be moving towards the turtle, and now a fight breaks out here in the purple buff. Alright.
Okay, but there wasn't any follow-up damage simply because the other members aren't there to really support that initial initiation of the coup for earlier. But again, that was a good transition for the side of SINAG Philippines, being aware that it's not really as much as effective to target again the marksman from the top side.
They're still killable even if they skill heavy. But what you'd want is to have a squishier front line, a more awkward front line that give any leeway for the front line here of Team Sadistic Gods. You got Jams here jumping towards the Claude. Of course, Cronus knows that Jams cannot further move forward. This tries to duel him. And again, they're at it again onto the top lane side. I think they will complete the kill. No, purification has been used.
Okay, but this is going a bit difficult for them to actually go for that pick-off, but the STs will be using his ult and really pressuring both the marksmen onto the side, but still that was a good defend for Popol Koopa and company, enough for the Esmeralda to go and respond to that team fight, and I think that is good initiation from them. And like what you said, they can't really afford to really make the tankier heroes even more tanky come the mid.
Yes. This is, I mean, it's not just guys, it's not just Jads and enemy making outplays here, Jads and enemy will have the lead, obviously, from that outplay up top. But the problem here is the main tank as well of Team Sadistic Gods is getting tankier and tankier by the minute. And the moment that members of Sadistic Gods converts and group up as a whole team, SINAG Pilipinas will be drowned out. That's the problem. They may lack in firepower here. Here comes the Bruno. It will be difficult for SINAG Pilipinas.
And forces the STs once again to use his ult and really accompany his Denver specifically right here. Okay, that was a good call. Okay, that was a knock up. Will they be able to pick him off though with this time that they have
Very weird.
It took a lot. It took a lot.
Yeah, it's very weird. They're actually taking these fights with the Claude. They're allowing the Claude to farm. They're not utilizing the win conditions of their composition. Again, this composition is very effective against tanks, but really, that's actually very awkward in going for tower dive. Lilia's kit actually makes her puts her with a lot of safety, right? The black shoes, but it's not necessarily good for tower dives in my opinion, as her casting time is a bit slow.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
there is this pop-up and of course missile speed mechanic whenever you cast onto that Lilia. So that's the problem over those tower dives. But let's see here. There's still another ray of hope for the side here of SINAG Pilipinas. That is Cronus. 6-minute mark, we're entering the 7-minute mark. I think by this time, Cronus should have 2 core items. If he joins this fight, plays in a very, very well-timed blazing duet. Let's look at Cronus. So you get Raptor Machete and also the Demon Hunter Sword, the DHS. And let's see here, Turtle has been secured now by the Bruno.
Okay.
Team fight.
Yes, yes, indeed. And look at the HP of Denver right here. Will he be able to escape? Morley Storm will be optimized for Korai as well, but we'll be having a pick off here. But Lilia will be the Bruno here to compensate, and Claude this time onto the fight will be having a kill on his own and will be cornering up the Esmeralda for the kill. And this is what you've mentioned earlier, Shinbu, and it's starting to see some life and
Shutdown kills and yeah, some good kills as well from Cronus over the mistake there, or probably because of the lag issue or pause onto Jam side, and I think onto one member again of Sadistic Gods.
And speaking, and looks like some very dominating plays for Cronus this time. We are now seeing that the space that was provided for him is really showing in terms of the damage output that he brings. And I'd like to really highlight what you said earlier about the Lilia, because the Lilia here, as much as she's a burst, not really good for tower diving. At the same time, it's really more effective in terms of cleaning up. In team fights.
The black shoes, you can say you can use the black shoes for tower diving, but that is just one aspect. Not against the PNK. It makes the black shoes actually very awkward because of the trap mechanic on that part. Korai jumping here.
Okay, but the Falling Starman will be used as well with the Starlight Dance, and of course the ults will be utilized into play. The Korra will be forced to back away, and this is giving a lot more advantage for the Esmeralda, because all the Esmeralda needs to do is just absorb the shields, which is not really looking good for the side of SINAG. If ever so, they keep on compiling themselves together in every team fight.
Yeah, the biggest curiosity here is they actually took the fight. Whoa! They got greeted by the Blazing Duet and actually very little crowd control against the Claude. Cronus was able to escape after that one. Jad's gonna be joining the party there also along with Dash. That was good from Cronus for the great part. It could have been better, really. I'm actually, there are a lot of mistakes in this game. I'm actually very curious why SINAG Pilipinas dueled up. Took a 2v4, 3v4 fight up top, especially with the Bruno. They need to play around Cronus right now. Really very awkward there. Cronus is able to at least kill the Uranus, but the problem there is Uranus has been baiting him so that he cannot respond to that 4v2 fight. So that's the thing. Members here of SINAG Pilipinas really needs to play around Cronus now. Make sure that Cronus is very close to the vicinity whenever they do these skirmishes.
Definitely, because as much as Cronus is one of the key players of the team, they can't really solely depend on the damage that he brings, because like what we've seen earlier, if they keep on getting picked off by the members of Sadistic Gods, but this is what you've been telling earlier, that the Cronus will be online into the play, using that Blazing Duet to really clean up the members of Sadistic Gods, will be having that 4-man down. And I would like to highlight what I've said, like what you've said earlier. They can't really depend too much on this Claude, because if they getting picked off by Sadistic Gods and Claude is the only one remaining, that could be one risky possibility.
Yeah. So really, it's one of the worst strategies I've always seen in MLBB. Whenever I do normal games, the force split push technique. I mean, it's a very, very risky strategy, and you can actually say it's pretty basic. It's pretty basic, honestly. 4v4, SINAG Pilipinas will win, so they should stop taking 4v3 fights. They should just, I mean, just take fights wherein they have equal number.
The 50-50 thinking behind it, but seeing that of the map control that we have now and the economy, it's really in the hands of SINAG, and all they have to do is the similar thing that they did on game 1, which is to maintain this advantage. Because if they do not, and they let Sadistic Gods really catch up to them right here, this is where we are going to start seeing the dwindling effects of the Claude as well as the Lilia.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, there's still the Beleric.
Yeah.
You can still greet. And I want to commend the Cupra earlier. That was some good capture against Jads. Yeah, I mean, catching a marksman is always by the book a right move in terms of team fights, a right recipe to
Yes.
win a game. So that was a very good catch against Jads. Now here's another good part of the recipe, ladies and gentlemen. Take the Lord. And I hope that you guys have taken your dinner, by the way, because somebody here is checking up on us.
Yeah. I hope everyone is eating here
Yes,
while
yes.
watching the stream. Guys, do not forget health is wealth. Even though you
Yes.
guys are watching games or playing games, do not forget to eat. As a
forget,
friend,
guys.
so that we won't have any issue, okay?
Ow!
As a friend.
Alvin, ow! Ow!
Let's not make any issues escalate right here, okay? We don't want to
Ow.
get any misunderstandings.
Alvin is about to eat actually when he heard us a friend. Oh. Okay, all right. Big shout out to our friend Alvin, ladies and gentlemen. It's still, it's June 2020 and people are still getting friend zoned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Push to be down here by the Lord onto the base here of Team Sadistic Gods. Let's see how will SINAG Pilipinas pull up the dive. There's Koray!
Okay, that was a very good capture for the side of SINAG Pilipinas. Blazing Duet will be going for the beautiful cleanup there onto the base. And again, use the BMX to go back and push the remaining towers. And here, we have here, like what we mentioned earlier, Lilia for that follow-up. And look at the HP dwindles. And ladies and gents, this is another secured victory for SINAG Pilipinas.
Big